a series so long, you'd think what I was playing on got taken down. But no. I believe it's about time, isn't it? It has been way too long. Ooh. This is the complete sacred golden triangle that had been broken into 8 pieces and scattered to the 4 winds. Triforce of Courage. Oh, buddy. This series has been going on longer than over half of as long as this channel has existed. Oh no! Well done, Nydal. With the shards you have collected, the Triforce of Courage is now complete at last. We must make for Hyrule quickly. And off we go. Roughly here, right? Yeah, right? Yeah, roughly. I truly can't believe how long it's taken me to do this. And realistically, I'm not done yet. Let's check out these few. Oh. This has been easily my longest running series on the channel. Granted, nowhere near as long, getting pretty close to my other longest played series on the channel, that I played to completion on the channel. But I don't even really have much of an explanation as to why. I love Wind Waker. I definitely have been pretty hard on it at points, and I'm sure that there have been areas that make people think that I may genuinely dislike the game, but I don't at all. I think this game is fantastic. I think visually it's outstanding. I think musically it is so high up there. I think its dungeon design is really solid as well. I think the only thing that I could possibly say against this game is just I wish there was more of it. I wish there was more of it. I wish there was a bit more things around the Great Sea to actually do. I wish the overall environments that you traverse on the Great Sea, the islands themselves, had a bit more dynamic areas to travel on. But I can't really fault it as the game itself, as it was it was developer holdbacks. They were rushing as fast as they could and tried their best to create a massively expansive world. And they themselves admit that they didn't do that. They didn't complete it the same way they wanted to. The same way that Twilight Princess was supposed to be a massively epic adventure. And they don't believe they did it as well as they could have. And honestly, massive respect for just coming out and saying that. Love that. But that by no means means just because you failed your own standards means it's not good. Like, yeah, anything can be better. But that doesn't mean what you ended up with wasn't good anyway. Sir, please stand still. I'm a little stupid. I almost died in one of these areas again. That's wow. Hey. Gorgeous. Who do you take this? Why can't it be this easy to find 50 bucks in real life? Artists are always most critical of themselves, and I think, obviously, game development is a part of artistry. It's one of the many types. So when game developers are hard on themselves, especially when they are hard on themselves about something that actually is very easily recognized as one of the one of the best game series of all time, in fact, it's kind of telling. Like, no matter how much you are really skilled at something, there's always going to be some level of, yeah, you could do better. Because it is true. But to an extent, it doesn't really matter. Because your best piece might become your most average piece to yourself in 5 years, but that doesn't mean that piece isn't still important to you now. Or hell, isn't still important to you later beyond that. And just because this game does, like, genuinely stick out to me as the Zelda game with one of the most flaws that I can think of, it's still a damn good game. It is a solid 8 to maybe 9 out of 10. And I think that is more than anything else respectable. So I think even if you want to be hard on yourself for something, it's pretty easy to look past it after realizing, in retrospect, you still did great. And I think that pretty heavily applies to this game as a whole. After all, this is one of the most visually outstanding games in the series. And it is pretty sad to look back on how people originally took this game, where I understand the reasons why, but truly, in retrospect, it's one of the dumbest critiques to ever throw at this game. That it wasn't visually good. The idea that it was just somehow bad is one of probably the biggest fumbles in terms of gamers being able to recognize quality. Like, gamers not giving this game's visuals the credit it deserves is pretty solid reason for developers to not take game criticism from gamers too much to heart. Like, I mean, come on. Like, how are you gonna make a game that looks like this? Granted, of course, this is the remake, so it's not a proper visual representation of the original. But still, like, how are you gonna do that? A game that, at least somewhat... Why did I do that despite recognizing exactly what it was? Don't worry about all that. Like, gamers' ability to judge quality really does not shine when looking at the criticism that a game like Wind Waker actually received. Oh, we'd love to see that. Like, I feel like some critiques on, like, the overall content in the game seeming lacking. Now, that kind of critique makes sense and holds up, and is a critique that Nintendo themselves hit themselves with. It's understandable, it's reasonable, and it's fully justified. But then, you call the original version of this game visually lacking? It's too cartoonish? Come on, man. It's a Zelda game. It's supposed to be whimsical and magical. It doesn't have to be gritty realism. Granted, I'm not against it. Like, I know, looking back on some of the fan art that I've seen of specific areas, or just specific instances in, let's just go with Ocarina of Time, where it's drawn with a hyper-realistic, hyper-detailed art style that was supposed to be, like, I know I saw this around the time Elden Ring was coming out, not coming out, Elden Ring was really, really heavily popping. But realism isn't the end-all be-all. And I know I was definitely pretty hard into Twilight Princess as a kid, but yeah, it's just a rite of passage. Every kid goes straight for their gritty realism phase when playing games. Granted, I never got that far into it. I hated games that were too gray. I always felt bored looking at it. But this game is a prime example of why developers might not care about what gamers say about the game they're making. Like, realistically, I can't even blame them for it. Really, ever. It's just understandable, you know? Like, this game's visuals are one of the most outstanding and one of the best showcases for the GameCube at the time. And now, here we are, begging for a port to the Switch over 10 years after the remake came out. I believe ever since I started this playthrough, it's now turned from a decade to 11 years now. And that is hilarious. The comeback for Wind Waker among, I guess, general audiences is nuts. People complaining about Wind Waker's visuals being too cartoonish. Like, granted, at the time, I guess there was some merit, where there was the tech demo, like the visual tech demo that was showing off a gritty, realistic, more realistic. Ow! Ocarina of Time. I get that. I understand. But even looking back, it's pretty hard to wonder. Well, pretty hard to call this game visually lacking. Like, I got this game well after it came out. I was playing on the Wii, just using a GameCube disc and all that, and I had a great time with it. Didn't find out until nearly like half a decade later that people didn't even like this game for a while. I didn't have any idea of that. Oh wait a minute, 149 rupees. I would not pay that shit up. Alright, I feel like maybe if no, I don't believe it. It's probably just a quick way to get cash. Probably more so for Tingle to specifically go to the people who weren't doing a bunch of side stuff and collecting a bunch of cash, for them to have their way to get some money very quickly. But seriously, I don't know how much of the general populace could have hated this game's visuals, even looking at the original. Like, the original, sure, it is worse than this. I saw a bit of discourse a couple weeks ago on this game, actually, talking about how the original version of Wind Waker looks better. And personally, I understand what they're going for. They said the lighting was a bit more dynamic. However, I don't know if that really matters to me at the moment. Because overall, the textures are more refined, the modeling is improved, and the lighting is more vibrant while not as dynamic. But come on. I love how when I saw that post too, it was just of a screen grab of the original versus the remake. And I looked at that and I straight up stared at it going, how is this the photo they're using to make out the remake to be worse? It was like one of the first shots in the game, and I guess I could understand it. Like, to a very small degree. Like, dynamic lighting is pretty cool. You a ghost ship area or something? This looks nifty. So I'm gonna make use of it. Bye-bye. There we go. Oh, you're still alive? Very cool, very nice. Piece of art? Maybe? It's unlikely, but I would like it. It was actually fairly likely. Incredibly so, apparently. Didn't quite realize that one. And that did not work. Heading just north. Yeah. I wonder, I really am pretty curious whether or not I would have been part of that discourse had I been old enough. I don't know if I would have been. I know I was much more into Twilight Princess, but I think that was just because... Bro. I was like 7. Of course I'm gonna like the cool guy. Objectively, like, the coolest of the Lynx. The one that's actually constantly portrayed as, like, this superhero. This absolute goddamn Clark Kent-ass Link. Of course I'm gonna love him. He's my guy. Also, it looks like I skipped past one of the fairies. So I'm probably gonna have to go check that out. Guess I have to. Nintendo Gallery, hold on now. No. Shush. We don't talk about that. I wonder if maybe the reason why I didn't collect one of these is because I didn't have the item at the time. And now I just look foolish for not remembering it, but also deceiving myself into collecting the map location, thus making me think that I've already done it. And now that I have every item in the game, I have no idea which one of the 4 it is. And now that I think about it, I don't think I ever quite realized there's always been 4 great fairies, hasn't there? Huh. Strange. I feel like I do remember more in Ocarina, though. Or am I horrifically wrong about that? I very much could be. There's one in Gerudo Desert. There's one by the castle. You visit that place twice, that's what it is. Okay. That's what it is. You visit one of them twice in order to get a new thing from them. I do feel like I'm very hypercritical of many things that I enjoy. I really hope that no one's gotten the the wrong message for me taking over, like, nearing a year to complete this game. I really hope that no one gets the wrong message from it, because no matter how much that I have definitely heavily criticized the game, I do really enjoy it, and I do think it holds a very, very special place in my childhood. Maybe not as my favorite Zelda, but it's still a goddamn good Zelda. And it definitely has one of the most visually appealing art styles of 95% of the entire... Oh, god damn it. There's no way it's the southern one. Real? Am I just... Wait, am I gaslighting myself? Do I have all of them? There's no way. There's no way I've gone straight past it. Oh my god, it's even a warp. Oh my god. Please tell me this isn't it. Please. It can't end like this. God damn it. Did it have to be the last one? I already see it. I already see it, man. No. Wait. Oh. Did I gaslight? I did. Huh. How do I get the upgraded magic meter? I've completely forgotten that one. Huh. Well. That's definitely unconventional for me to think about. Huh. Weird. Very weird. Oh, what? You thought we were finishing the game already? How am I not gonna stretch it out? We're gonna unlock something.